Okay, we are live. Show starting imminently. Okay, let's see here. So I got this
This is how to watch TV.
live from 9 Mile Studio. My name is Joel Henderson, and we're not at 9 Mile Studio. I'm just so used to saying that at this point that even though it's not factually accurate, that's the situation. So with me, I was going to say as always, but this is probably the first time aside from when I did podcasts with Jenna that I can't say Jeremy's here. So with me as always, Dre. What's up,
You
Dre?
miss them. You miss them. What's
Yeah,
going on,
it's
man?
it's throwing off the balance, like
Yeah, I feel you. We
yeah.
miss old Jeremy. Listen,
What you
what's
got?
going on with you, young Joe? How you feeling today?
Well, I just wanted to say that we are brought to you by Don't Eva on YouTube. Go
Oh
check us
yeah,
out
you got a brand
at Don't
change.
Eva. Yep, we got a little brand change going. Don Teva, Don't Eva. Go check it out. YouTube.com/at Don't Eva. That is all of our stuff. Also, how to watch TV website if you want to check out any of our old content.
Yeah, we stuck with that. You still got to type the dot
Yeah, no,
website.
I couldn't find anything better than that. However, potentially in the future, once what do they call them? Choose a handle. Once the handles go live, we'll have at How to Watch TV, and I'm going to upload all of our content to another channel that's just How to Watch TV.
Okay,
Because
nice.
in that case, I could potentially hand it over to you or Jeremy to do
I'm
stuff with
being.
the brand, and like,
I
oh,
need
here, just
to. I
log into
need.
this account.
I need to speak to Don't Ever HR department because I'm being harassed in the chat.
Are you being harassed in the chat?
I'm being harassed
Don't
in
we
the
have a
chat
chat here?
early, man. Yeah, man.
Oh, comments. Here we go. And put a whole shirt on. Yeah, I mean, you should have a shirt on. We discussed
Hey,
the sleeves,
listen,
the
I'm in my
arms.
home.
Does that?
Oh,
This video's not just in your home,
all
Mister
right. I'm gonna get. You
Sleeveless.
know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a need from the Lorax movie.
I'm fine with that. That makes more sense than a lot of what happened in Black Panther. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah,
Nah,
we're
we ain't
gonna
doing that.
discuss.
Not today, Satan.
We're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the. It's just called Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It's not like Black Panther 2.
No, it's Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Right. So, do you
Yeah.
think they learned a lesson there from like Iron Man movies and like numbering them?
For
Because they
the
kind of did that with
numbering,
Captain America after a while, right?
they never had a Captain America too. It was just Captain America. Then it was Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain
That's what I'm
America
saying.
Civil
Like,
War.
wasn't that the one that kind of changed that naming convention?
Yeah, because I think the second Thor was called Thor: The Dark World. Actually, no, I think Thor might have been the one that changed it because the second Thor was called Thor: The Dark World. It wasn't Thor
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Uh,
Fair
I
enough.
think, to be fair, I think when the second Iron Man was being produced and was about to come out, this was in the middle of the Disney acquisition. So I'm not sure if the same people in charge were necessarily there at the time. What's going on,
Okay.
Jay Wackers? Jesse,
So, so, uh,
aka
so if you had to
the
rank
MVP.
this, yay, nay, or meh, where do you put it?
What rank?
This
What the
movie.
movie?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was one of my favorite Marvel films thus far. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay. I just kind of found it meh. Like it was fine, but it was like it's like I want to compare it to like season 8 of The Office. Like it's great.
Mm,
Everything technically is still there, but you're not quite as involved without the lead character. Like it feels hollow without the lead character to me. Like it felt like such a departure from the first movie with like the very minimal involvement of Martin Freeman. I can't remember his character name.
yeah, you would need a white character to have more involvement. I'm not even gonna go down that road with you.
Why would that
Listen,
matter? It was tying
because
it to the overall Marvel stuff. I meant like that was
mm,
that was his tie-in, wasn't it? Isn't he FBI or whatever that is?
he's a CIA agent, CIA asset or whatever it is. He's
Right.
some kind of random whatever the fuck. But
I
no,
just didn't care as much about the stuff. Right off the bat, and I know they addressed it later, but I'm just like, they're not going to just do this thing where they don't talk about it, right? Like that's dumb. I don't know
don't
why that
talk about
bothered
what.
me. like the elephant in the room. Like
No, I
they
think
just
you.
they just went straight into the funeral thing, and it was like, okay, so we're supposed to bridge that gap right off the bat. It was just like,
No, they didn't.
what do you mean
You
they
must have
didn't?
got to the theater late or something. Did you not see the whole movie?
Yeah, I watched the trailers leading up to it. And then oh, let me start here. And then right as the lights dimmed for the last couple trailers or whatever, the guy sitting in front of me holds his phone up with the screen on full brightness to try to flag down somebody wearing a massive hat to come up to their section. And like for like 2 or 3 seconds he's like this. I mean, seriously, the brightest phone I've ever seen. And
Right.
the guy behind me was like, "Hey man." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on? What are we doing? Like go down there and
Yeah.
get the person and bring them up here." And then who wears a Sunday hat to a movie?
Yeah.
Like, point of
People are
wearing a hat
weird.
to a movie. It didn't. It
People
didn't.
are weird. People
It
are
didn't
really
like get in
weird.
my. It wasn't in my way of viewing. However, at one point Sawyer walked out of the row and he bumped into the hat, and she was like, "This is thick." Like you wore a hat to a movie theater, like a massive hat, and you were a tool the second you walked in. And like they just kept checking their phone the whole time, like on super brightness, like full brightness, and just
It
like
was somebody. It was somebody who was identified as a YouTuber slash whatever you call an influencer in the theater on a premiere date. And my daughter knew who he was immediately when we walked in the movie theater. And she was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's so." She said his name. She showed me his channel or whatever. Do you know this son of a b? Um, he literally had like four people with him, and the guy right next to him that just happened to be in my sight line.
right.
He checked his phone for the entirety of the 2 hour and 45 minute movie,
Right.
and I had. I didn't feel like that was the day to go to jail for beating a random person over the back of the head. But listen, I'm gonna say
Like,
my review.
Did they not watch the beginning part where it says
Also,
turn off your phone? Don't ruin it for
if you
other
don't want to
people.
watch the movie, if you don't want to watch the movie, just don't come to the movie. That's fine. You are not
Fair point.
legally
You're not
beholden
obligated.
to come to the. You're right. Like don't come. But that's another story. We gonna deal with that. Listen, I'm gonna give my real quick review because
Okay.
obviously you saw a different movie than me.
Right.
Um, and I kind of have a feeling that you're gonna do that weird thing where you like to like overthink some stuff that don't need to be overthought. So I'm gonna let
No,
you do
no. A
that.
lot of it was just dull. That's all. I just
Yeah,
found it
I'll let
boring.
you.
That's it.
Like I said, I'll let you have it. But this
I'm
movie
not.
was
I'm
great.
not coming at it like, oh, they did this thing wrong and
No,
this thing right. I just didn't. It just. I kept waiting. Like somebody was like, "Oh, bring your tissues," and I'm like, "I'm in for that." Like 1,000% make me cry. Nothing in that movie even came close. I'm just like, this is
I
dull.
saw
Like
people
the mom,
bawling. It
the
was
mom
people.
dying. No, I know. I'm saying me. Like it just, and I cry at stuff very easily. But it just, Angela Bassett dying didn't do anything for me. Like it didn't. It wasn't like, oh no, not her. It was just another character in a Marvel
Well,
movie. You know what I mean?
even if nobody cried, I don't like to like give movies credit for what other movies haven't done. So I won't do a comparison thing and be like, this movie didn't do this movie didn't do it.
Right.
What this movie did, and the reason why I love it, and I think it's one of the best Marvel films, is because they had a narrative that was easy to follow. And when I say easy to follow, I don't mean like it was a simplistic narrative. I mean like it wasn't convoluted and it wasn't something like inconsistent with these characters. You know what I mean?
Right. It was basically
And
just
it
can we
was
create the pink or the purple flower again and be Black Panther?
it was trying to reestablish
Jeremy
the
said he
old
barely cried
ways.
as well. I just
Yeah, and I told Jeremy the same thing. I figured I didn't get as emotional as I intended or I thought I would, but what I'm
right.
saying is that didn't change the fact that the movie was great.
Well, what
The
did you like about it?
fights, I'm trying to tell you. The
That felt
narrative.
like a perfect time to toss that in there, and then you just kept
Yeah.
talking. It would have been great.
But no. The narrative, first of all, the introduction of a whole nother region
I
or
was just
subset of
praying it wouldn't be
Marvel.
Atlantis. Atlantis. I was just praying it would
Uh,
not be Atlantis. I'm like,
well, they
oh
were
my god,
smarter. Give them credit where credit is due. First of all, they did Talokan, and they also studied and they did some deep dive research. No pun intended.
ah, well
Hearing
done.
from different Mesoamerican and historical type people that talk
Right.
about the representation that you saw on screen for those different cultures. Um, it not only did it mean a lot, but it was also accurate in how it was depicted.
Right.
So I thought that doing that to set them apart from obviously the comparison of Aquaman and Atlantis, even though
Right. I was so glad it
in the
wasn't
comic,
Atlantis.
even though in the comic books, Namor is or Namor is from Atlantis. I can see why they
Oh,
did it
so that was where
cinematically.
it was going. Okay, I see.
No, it
I
was
w-
actually Atlantis, but they changed it because you know you don't want to have those
thank you.
direct comparisons.
I'm
So
just glad
yeah,
that they did
like
that. You know.
they they introduced new characters. They introduced a actual character that felt like a legitimate threat. And I'll explain that because a lot of people sometimes you see stuff. I was telling my daughters and my son actually when I was talking to them about the movie. The thing that impressed me about it is sometimes when you see fights and stuff on the screen,
Yeah.
it could be fun, it could be entertaining, it could be some cool parts. You could have a couple chuckles, but sometimes you get that what you would say is a hollow feeling where you don't feel like there's anything at stake in this moment.
Okay.
Kind of like when Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 was first being attacked at Monaco by Whiplash, the guy with the whips, Mickey Rourke's character. That was a dope ass scene. It was one of the better scenes in the history of like Marvel films. You know what I'm saying? They like fighting on this racetrack with these F1 cars going around and all this shit.
Okay.
And Tony Stark suited up out of his briefcase. That shit was classic. But you never felt like he could die in that moment.
Right.
When and speaking of, we already gonna be really into spoilers. So if you
Yeah.
watching this, you already
Obviously.
saw the movie. Like I'm sorry, but if you watching this, you saw the movie.
You better
Uh,
have.
but
Yeah.
but if when Okoye was on the bridge and the two Atlanteans, well not Atlanteans, Talakani or whatever the two fish folks jumped on a bridge and attacked her to try to get Riri, and she was
Okay.
trying to fight them off.
When you say she, who do you mean?
Okoye,
Okay.
Okoye, the bald
Sorry,
headed.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
When she was fighting them, there was that fight felt like she was about to die. It
Right.
was the first time we had saw that character struggle. Like this chick was fighting alien overlords and shit, and like some of the other Marvel films. You know what I'm saying? We never saw her like actually have to put forth that much effort in a hand to hand fight, and she was struggling against them, and it felt like she was about to die. They even like dropped the music out.
Right.
Like the music stopped playing and she was on the bridge and he was just like started flipping her around and it was like, oh Lord. That type of stuff that when you can give me that feeling of tension during a fight scene, that makes the fight
Mhm.
scene better. Because I
Okay.
don't
Fair
know,
enough.
so when the direction, the cinematography, everything about it, I love honest to God, I think I only have one complaint throughout the entirety of the film and I wouldn't even really call it a complaint. It's almost nitpicky, but it felt unnecessary for them to do this. They had Trevor Noah voice the AI, Shuri's AI,
Uh-huh.
and Trevor Noah is the South African comedian that hosts the Daily Show,
Yeah, I know.
and
Why
it
was it
was cool.
unnecessary?
Well, I felt like we didn't need another Jarvis situation. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like that's
but we literally have another Iron Man situation.
well that character exists in real life.
What do you
So
mean in real life?
I'm not in the comic. These aren't like Marvel is not just making this stuff up out of thin
No. I'm
air.
not. I didn't mean to
What
insinuate
I'm
that. I'm
saying
just
is
saying they're just replacing Iron Man.
in the movie in the movie I felt like the that AI was unnecessary
For
because
Shuri.
for Shuri. I felt like Shuri didn't need an AI. I get the implication that they're trying to impart to you, which is she had an AI so she could have somebody to talk to in the lab to replace her brother who would normally be in the lab with her. I get it.
Right.
I see where they're going. I see that that's a characterization thing.
Oh, you don't
I
think that's just
just
going with the Ironheart character?
no, not at all. Not even
Okay.
remotely close.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
but but
Because it's
no,
just like we
no,
don't need another retread of that.
no, no.
He
That's what I'm
died.
saying.
Let that
That's
be.
out of the entirety of the movie. That's the only one thing I could look at where I was like, well, that wasn't. They didn't have to put that in there. I know why they put it in there. I get it. I understand. Like I
Yeah,
said,
that
it's
makes sense in the
characterization,
context you said.
but
Yeah,
it's
because
just
to
like,
replace the brother.
it's just like,
So you think that's going to stay?
I don't know how much they will have to pay Trevor Noah to keep doing that, and I don't know if it's gonna have the traction that they think it'll have. I don't think it'll be necessary to keep it. I would leave it. I would leave it alone, me
Would
personally.
well, you seem to be like on the Trevor Noah aspect of it. What if it was just any voice? Like, you don't think it's going to return?
Here's the thing. Here's the problem with what Paul Bettany did. Jarvis. Paul Bettany is not the most famous person in the world. He's not super famous, and he's not. He's
Right,
not even even now after playing Vision for those years. He's still not at Trevor Noah's level of notoriety for his voice. Trevor
right.
Noah is known for talking on TV, so it kind of takes you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's
so you
like
felt it pulled you out of it a little bit.
if yeah, it was that part too. It's like it
So
kind
your
of
issue
like
would have
yeah, it's
been
Trevor
is
Noah.
him,
It's like if Eddie Murphy was talking, and it's
but
like
it's
it's Eddie
him
Murphy.
versus the idea that's bothering
It's
you.
the idea and
Him
him,
being the voice. Okay,
but
but
yeah,
do you think the
him
voice
is
will
the highlight
continue?
of it.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
a version of that will be in the next
I
Black
think
Panther?
I feel like they had AI voices in the first Black Panther movie.
Okay,
It
I
would
can't
usually
remember.
be like it'd be like a female or something. Be like when a Kamoyo bees or somebody be calling somebody, you'll hear something like the
Right.
chime noise or something, and then somebody might say something. But I just don't think it's necessary. That was on my only, like I said, and it felt nitpicky because I don't feel like it bothered anybody else. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. It's just for me personally because he's so prevalent for being a person who speaks for a living.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, I didn't necessarily need that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like I said, that's just me being nitpicky. Outside of that, I couldn't. There's almost no fat on this movie. I thought all of the decisions they made were the right decisions. I feel like they placated to the people who wanted a recasting of T'Challa, not as much as they placated to the people who wanted to honor Chadwick Boseman's passing. But they still, did it with the
Yeah, I think that's my major issue with it. And like, I don't know what would have preferred they do, so I'm not going to sit here and go they should have done this.
yeah. That's what I was telling Jeremy
But
before. It's like it's
something about
hard.
them like I don't know, just kind of like the whole oh we figured out a way to recast him by the end. Like next one's going to have a time jump. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I see exactly what they did,
but
but it's
yeah,
just
that's what I
kind of
said.
meh.
But that works for me because it's like, listen, somebody's gonna be mad either way. You know what I mean? Like no matter how you, no matter how you call it, somebody's gonna be mad. You're not gonna satisfy everybody all the time. You could just make the hard choice and just just plow through and just go with your gut and just say to hell with everybody. But they had the foresight to say, look, we're gonna do a little something for everybody. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna try to make people as happy as possible because this is a sensitive subject. Because unlike most people, well, not most people, but a lot of folks outside of the black community don't understand. Chadwick Boseman was Black Panther to us.
Right.
You know what
Yeah,
I
no,
mean?
you're not
Like
gonna,
this.
there's no recasting him like that.
Yes.
Like
So to us,
like I'm
so
saying,
it's
it's
in our
just they
head,
had
it's
to
like
do
it
it.
would have felt some of us. It would have felt disrespectful to recast. So some people was like, "Look, I want the character more." It was a triple edged sword. It wasn't even a double edged sword. It was triple edged sword because you had people that wanted to recast. You had people that wanted the name T'Challa to be forever tied with Chadwick Boseman. So his passing should have had the character pass as well. And then you had people who was like, hey, listen, the mantle of Black Panther is what's most important. As long as the Black Panther exists, it don't matter which character carries that mantle. The mantle is the character. So
You didn't mind the lack of like I get that they just kind of went with real life, but it felt rather anticlimactic to just be like, oh, he suffered silently and died. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how they could have visually represented that in any way that would have made me happier, but I
no,
just
I
felt like
thought
it
it
was
was.
lacking something. I don't know.
I
It just
thought
felt
it when
hollow by it.
it came in when the movie started and Shuri's running around and she's trying to recreate the heart shaped herb
Right.
because she feels like it will heal him from whatever ailment he has. They're literally mirroring the fact that we haven't cured
Yeah,
cancer
I
yet.
get it. Like I said, I
No,
get
but what
the
I'm saying
reference
is,
to real life,
but
but
what I'm saying is, but that also ties back to the first film. This creates that anger in her. I thought it all tied together perfectly. This was like I said for people. I guess I don't want to imply that somebody who don't like it don't understand because I hate when people do that shit. But what I'll say
no,
is
I get
this.
exactly what you're saying right now. That makes
But what I'm
perfect
saying
sense.
is
But
it all ties together for me as a perfect weave because you have Shuri who has to take the mantle of Black Panther at this point. What does she need right now more than anything? She didn't need to be soft and laid back like her nature. She needed a little spiciness. She needed to be angry in this moment. She needed that fight. That she needed Killmonger.
uh,
The fact that they knew this, like because they
Ivan,
could have
who knew
easily.
this?
Hmm?
Who knew this?
Well, I'm saying
You
the
said,
people who produced and wrote the
oh,
story.
okay.
It's a because she could have went and saw her father, just like T'Challa saw his father when he went to
Or she
you
could have
know,
went and seen T'Challa.
she could have saw T'Challa. She could have saw her mother who had just passed.
Right.
That she was on set. You know what I mean? So they could have easily filmed it with, but it was this for the.
We got a new commenter in here. I like the movie, but I understand why some people want to recast T'Challa. He's the main hero. You don't go see Superman to see Lois Lane and his mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But but
Now,
like I said, but
if
it's
it
all
leads to
different
another
schools
one, I
of
get it.
thoughts.
But no,
It's all different
I see
schools of
what he's
thoughts. Like I
saying.
said, it's still a mantle. The mantle. It's kind of like when people get mad that Sam Wilson is the new Captain America and it's not Steve Rogers. Well, listen, this is how it works. The mantle is the character. That's
Right.
the way I see it. It's kind of like the Green Lantern. You have Hal Jordan. You have I forget the other three. It's
I
like
don't think his issue is the fact that she becomes it. It's the fact that the movie wasn't about the Black Panther for the most part. Like that's
right,
I think
but
that's the big
and
criticism
that's
there.
and
It
that's
was
the thing
about
though.
people he knew.
But it was about the Black Panther.
I know, but he's
That
saying
was the
this one
point. The
focused
movie was
on the
literally
sister
about.
and dad, or sister and mother. So like I could
No,
see somebody going, that's not as interesting to me as a movie about the actual Black Panther.
but
Like it was
that's
about
my.
dealing with his loss. I get that.
But
But it
no, no,
wasn't
no.
about him. It was about
But
trying
see,
to
you see
get
how
him
you keep
again.
stating it. You keep saying him. What I'm saying is, when you take that out of your head,
I'm saying the
and the
Black
black,
Panther when I say him.
I know,
I'm
but
sorry, I said it
I
wrong.
know. But listen, what I'm saying. But when
The
you saying
character,
him,
the entity, whatever you want to call
what
it,
I'm
the
saying. So when you saying the sister and the mother, it's not the sister. The movie was about the Black Panther. The
right,
movie
but
was
it
about the Black.
featured the mother and the sister, it not the Black
No, it
Panther.
didn't. It featured the Black Panther from the beginning of the
And
movie to the end.
I,
Shuri is
I
the Black Panther.
agree to disagree. She wasn't the Black Panther at
He'll,
the beginning of the
he'll,
movie. She was the
and
sister of the Black Panther that died that
okay,
6 years ago or whatever, however long
okay,
ago. That's
okay.
all I'm
Now
saying.
look,
I'm trying to make this guy's point. He's just saying
oh no,
that
I
the
hear what he's
movie
saying, but what
wasn't.
I'm saying to
Yeah.
you is when you take
Why
that
do you think
way
I
of
don't
thinking of
understand?
it,
I get what you're saying. I'm just
what I'm
telling
saying
you.
is,
I was trying to enunciate his side because he can't speak on the podcast. That's it. I
oh
get the
yeah,
point. I see what you're saying, and I think his point is valid too.
his
That it
point is his point is that T'Challa was the main hero, and like I said, this is what one thing I often repeat is if you actually read the source material, T'Challa was not the only Black Panther. So that for me that doesn't resonate. That's just somebody who
right,
watches the movies and says he's
correct.
the main character. He's not.
That's
Shuri
what
has
we're
been the
here to
Black.
discuss, though. To be fair, we're here
I
to
know. To
discuss the
be
movie,
fair,
not
we're
the
here to
comic
discuss
books.
but that's the source material. So what I'm
Right.
saying is, for me, before the first movie even came out, I knew Shuri was going to be Black Panther one day. I
Right.
literally discussed it. Check this out. Before we knew Chad was sick and passed, I discussed Shuri being a Black Panther with my daughter in the movie theater
But you
on the
had that
first one.
knowledge already, didn't you?
So no, but what I'm saying is when you look at it from that perspective, I can see why a person who watches the movies is like, it's all about T'Challa. But when you read the comics and you know the source material, it's like, to a degree, yeah, I understand, but not fully. The
Right. So
mantle
for
is
people
what's
not
more
not
important.
into the comics, it's a valid angle to come at it from. Like people who've never read any of the source material and are just being absorbing what's being presented. It's like House of the Dragon. Like there are people that know every detail of those books, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Why do you want to know that shit? Like back now, that's not to
Hey,
say you
somebody
should have been
pointed
reading
something
Black
out, and I
Panther.
don't
That
even want to
makes
go into
sense.
talking about that. But somebody pointed something out about that recently. I
What's
saw
that?
Rhaenyra, the younger
Uh,
actress that played Rhaenyra as a younger version. She always walked around with her hands behind her back, like clasped behind her back. And the older Rhaenyra always walks around with both her hands clasped in front of her.
right.
And I was just wondering what, like, is there's a subconscious thing? It's highly likely that it's not, but I
I would
wonder what
think
it
that it
is they're
was.
trying
I
to.
think it's something that the younger Rhaenyra was more bold and unafraid,
Right,
and like confident in her. I'm the prince. I'm going to be the queen someday. Shit. So she would walk around with her hand behind her back as if you're just like that in a fight.
right.
You know what I mean? Whereas now she's like, I'm protecting myself and my family. She's got other people to protect. So maybe that's the like, you
I
know how
could
they
dig it.
say
See,
like
but
your body
your
language
body language,
indicates.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
and
how I
that's what I'm
felt.
saying. That's what's
I
so
think
dope
that was
about it. I like when
conscious.
they put that. I like when they do little stuff like that in movies
Right.
and TV shows, especially. But yeah, nah, my man got a his motherfucking name. Anyway, I was just reading dude name in the chat. I'm not saying it, but
It's a pretty
it's
good
a
name.
nice profile picture.
Yeah,
That's Michael Scott, right?
that's my analogy to this movie. It's season 8 of The Office.
But no, at the end of the day, though,
Looking
I
for a
thought it
new
was
Michael
dope.
Scott.
I thought it was pretty fucking dope. Because I never came into it with that mentality, and I guess, like I said, it's all about
What
perspective.
mentality?
The mentality of it'll be a problem if somebody else is the Black Panther. They should recast, and I let that go a long time ago. I kind of engaged in those arguments for like the first couple months after Chadwick passed. I was
Right.
sad about it, and then I thought about it.
What was your opinion at the
I can't
time?
even remember what the opinion was at the time because honestly, I came to the conclusion, and it was really simple. I have no control over what they do with the story. Just give me a good movie.
But you had an
I
opinion, like you wanted
No,
something,
I
right?
didn't say I didn't have an opinion. What I said is I can't even remember what it was at the time because remember I would discuss it and argue with my son and my buddy Al, and we talk about it, and they should do this and they should do that, and then we would weigh the options and all that. And then I'm just sitting there, and I thought about it. I said I don't even fucking care because I realistically give me a good story. Because here I'll give you an example. Christopher Reeve fell off a fucking horse. He had long since stopped playing Superman in the movies.
Right.
So I mean, this is not a one to one example, but
Right.
you'll kind of see where I'm going with it.
Uh,
Christopher Reeve fell off a fucking horse. This was our Superman. He represented Superman to most people from that generation. He
right.
was not Christopher Reeve, the actor. He was Superman.
Right.
Studio got to make money. They got to use their property, and plus, there's all kind of contracts and shit. You got to put movies out under that
Right.
property, or else we'll lose the rights to make movies for it. All kind of shit like that. It's different stipulations. They
Right.
recast. They used Nicolas Cage, produced the movie, never put it out. It looked really shitty. They
Yep.
didn't put it out. They
Like
might have
every
came
Batman.
right. They might have came right down to crunch time, and they brought in Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh, not a bad actor, not a bad looking dude. He's actually kind of large. You know,
He has that
Christopher Reeve was
Slender Man face, you know.
right. The movie sucked dick.
Yeah.
It
I
was
don't remember.
horrible.
I never saw
It
any of
was
the
Superman
Superman.
Returns. It was stupid as hell.
Right.
Lex Luthor was using a crystal to make an island so he could sell real estate.
Was it as bad as the Nintendo 64 Superman game?
It probably was worse than that because I didn't have expectations of that game. But I thought the Superman movie could be
Flying
good.
through the rings. You remember
Dude,
that?
he literally like the one big super thing he did. I think he like caught a airplane and broke all the laws of physics on a baseball field. Like the airplane was about to crash, and he like held the plane up by like the tip of the nose of the plane as though like the weight of the fucking plane wouldn't come down and smash in that one spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was so stupid. It was like
Oh,
holding
he
a water
didn't. He
balloon on
didn't
a.
gradual slow it.
He
He
didn't
just let it
gradually
stand up
fly
there.
and use the wings and everything to help guide it. He literally caught the plane by the tip of the nose. It was so stupid. But my point to you is this: the movie was dumb as hell. It was horrible,
Right.
which caused them to go and recast again some years later and then start over again. They when we wound up with
I
Henry
forgot his
Cavill.
name. Yeah, Henry Cavill. You saw
But
that thing
people,
with The Rock, where The Rock got him to come back for another one. Like The Rock specifically went out of his way to say they
yeah,
because the studio apparently
The
wanted
Rock is an egomaniac, and he's gonna destroy that. I hope James Gunn could deal with him because he's gonna destroy WB and
WB.
DC, Warner Brothers and DC films.
Well, let's be fair, it was garbage already. But
It
what I'm
was
saying
bad,
is
but what I'm saying is
just
he's
the
gonna
idea that
destroy
he got
morale.
him. He decided that that dude was Superman, and like
Yeah, he
even though the
wants Henry
studio
Cavill to be
wasn't passed,
Superman
yeah,
because he wants to be against Superman, even though his character
right.
is a
And any other
Shazam.
Superman would pale in comparison at the moment.
Yeah, but he
Like,
wants to. Yeah, but that's his ego. That has nothing to do with the source material. Yes, they fight sometimes, but he's a Shazam villain. Shazam, he's supposed to be dealing with Shazam, but he don't want to deal with the little kitty superhero looking dude that's kind of funny. You know what I'm
well, who
saying?
was he?
Zachary,
Who was he with in the whole movie? I don't. I haven't seen it, so I'm just curious because I
what
know
the
the
Black Adam
Superman thing
movie?
at the end. Yeah, at the
That,
end, Superman shows up. I guess I don't know,
yeah, I had walked
but
out before that happened.
who was his bad guy in that movie?
He was the bad guy. He was trying to say he was the bad guy the whole time.
Well, okay, sorry. Who was his antithesis then? Who was he against in the movie? Was there a character that he was against?
Not really, but at the
Oh,
very end of the
okay.
kid, it was a regular ass dude. And then at the end of it, the dude tricked him into killing him, which didn't make sense. The way he did it, like he would have had. Oh fuck, that movie is so
Wait,
stupid.
so the majority of the movie he wasn't Black Adam?
No, the majority of the movie, or the entirety of the movie, he was Black Adam. But the point is, the person he was that it wasn't a thing where he was dealing with a villain or an antithesis or an other. He literally was just an angry dude who wanted to do things his way.
But who was telling him not to do it that way? Like there had to be somebody he was
The
against.
Justice Society of America or whatever
Okay.
the fuck they are. Hawkman, Doctor Fate, and
So that's who he was against per se.
but
Like they were the
no,
ones trying to
they were
stop him.
friends. They
Oh,
was
they were
friends after
friends.
like 5 seconds. They pulled the
Okay.
Vin Diesel and the motherfuckers just was like they family now and they having a Corona in the backyard. The
Okay.
movie, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, I've never seen it. I have no interest in
It's
seeing
so
it.
bad. It's so
The
goddamn
DC
stupid.
movies are garbage. The only thing I've liked from the
It's
DC universe is freaking Peacemaker.
dude. I was Peacemaker. I can't wait for that to come back. But
Like that's
no,
so good.
you should watch the second Suicide Squad though, where Peacemaker came
I
from.
have. Yeah,
Oh,
I've
okay,
seen
yeah.
it.
So yeah, that movie was good. That was actual good movie. But that's James Gunn, and now he's in control. He's in charge of creative, and
Okay.
over at DC. That's what I'm saying. I hope that he's able to deal with the ego that Dwayne the Rock Johnson brings to the table because
What do
this
you got
dude,
against him? That's hilarious. What's the
dude,
matter with
his
The Rock?
ego is fucking running crazy. Dude, you want to
Based on
change
what?
a
Like
based on
I'm
the
asking genuinely. I don't know what you're talking about. So just tell me
based
what you're talking about
based
so
on
I
the
know.
fact that this dude literally is over here like pushing
What the heck
people
is going
to
on
do
here?
stuff. What's happening?
Sorry, I lost all hearing because Siri popped up on my computer.
But
You
yeah, he's
there?
pushing
Yeah,
people to
sorry.
do things that he wants them to do as far as the movies. That's not good for the movie. It's ego based. This is the same reason why he had a falling out with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel has the same ego. That's why they had to split up Fast Furious franchise.
Right.
It's like they have that same type of ego. Like nobody could be tougher than me. Nobody could be bigger than me. I'm the biggest, baddest. No, that's your character. You're an actor. It's okay to just, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to let that shit go and make the best movies possible. He
Are
doesn't
you
have that
basing
in
that
him.
just on the
I'm
beef
basing it
from
because
Fast
I
and
follow
Furious,
these
or
guys on I follow these guys on
well, I
social
don't. That's what
media.
I'm asking. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
know what you're
no,
talking about.
I'm not. I follow these guys on social media and I see the type of moves they make and I see the type of manipulations they do. Vin Diesel does it and The Rock does it. They came together, Fast Furious. That shit broke up
Right.
because both of them wanted to be the main characters. Um,
I
the
liked The
point
Rock
is,
as the antithesis character, or even on the same
yeah,
side.
but
Like
but
fine.
they don't. But you gotta see. Here's the problem.
Well, I can see Vin Diesel
Arnold,
being ego hurt because he had been in four
Arnold,
movies before The Rock.
Arnold didn't want to be Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger could not want to be the bad guy in a movie because of his image. He's the governor and all that other stuff.
Uh-huh.
So you could come back and you could take a character that was supposed to be menacing and all this shit and rewrite him and make him more fun and he's the hero
Right.
like the Terminator. We get that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
fine. But the Terminator was handled by people who actually love the fucking franchise, at least for the first sequel, T2.
Right.
These are people who love the character and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It is handled by
Right.
professionals. When you try to take Black Adam and make him like he just gonna really be like hanging out with like Hawkman and all of them and working with them to try to learn teamwork and he hanging around with some kid and all this other dumb shit because The Rock don't want to be an actual bad guy.
But where are you getting
It's
that from? Like, are you just
I
deciding
know
that
because
that's where it came from?
I'm not just deciding it. You have to if you know the characters, you know what I'm talking about. I
Well, I
can't
don't
really.
know the characters. I
I
don't know
know I
anything
get
about
that.
these
I
people.
know you don't. So on this one, I'm gonna ask you to just
But
take my word
and
for it
I
until
think
later. I don't want to talk about it
Jeremy
for
brought
like
this up
ever.
in the chat, but I think that was his point, is that Arnold
Yeah, that
wanted
was
to be the good
actually
guy.
my
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Arnold didn't have any
I get that.
sway in Hollywood when he was just a big dumb actor
For the
who they
first
put in the
movie and then the
first
second
Terminator.
one.
But after doing
Oh,
all the
wait a
other
minute.
shit that he
Quick
did,
query. Didn't the second Terminator blow him up? Wasn't that the
hmm,
one? Wasn't the second Terminator his blow up thing? That's the first thing I remember him in, like as a kid.
I don't
As
know.
a
I don't know
kid,
what the
I
hell
don't
you was
remember
watching.
him in
Hey, I'm about to say I
Conan
don't
and
know
all
what the
that
hell you was
shit.
watching.
I didn't
No,
watch any of that garbage.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a whole lot of shit for a long time after that first Terminator movie. He did a lot of stuff beside like Jim Belushi's and
I mean, was that
you
like
know.
kindergarten cop era? I'm trying to place
No, I'm
it.
talking about like Running Man. I'm talking about like
But he wasn't like
Commando.
that guy yet, was he?
Yes, he
I don't
was.
remember
I'm
him
telling
being that
you,
popular.
but you don't remember it. That's my point. I'm telling you, he
I'm
was
saying T2 blew him up for me, then, if that's an
for
easier way to
you,
cauterize my point. Yes,
for
at my
you. But
age,
my
he was
what I'm
that was
saying
the
to you
blow up
is he
thing.
was already the dude. He had already did Commando. He had already become that one liner
I was born in
spewing.
1980, so like that's the first thing I saw of his that was of any relevance to me.
No,
None of
I
those
get you, but that's
movies.
not the point. The point
Yeah.
is the man was famous as shit, and he
Well,
was
right.
able,
Yeah. Okay.
and he's now he can say,
We could
okay,
say people from the 50s were famous to people that were born at that time. I'm just saying, like, he didn't. I thought that was his launching pad from a mainstream point of view, at least. But I could be wrong. I was just thinking it's interesting that
no, you're
that movie.
100% wrong. He was
Yeah, that's fine.
100% in a
That
lot of big
movie.
budget Hollywood movies before that.
Yeah, great. But if he was using that to to do one of his most iconic roles, it's not like it ended up bad. You know what I mean?
No, it
Him
didn't.
saying, "I
That's why
want
I
to be
said. That's
the
why I
guy."
said it was
And
good.
did he influence that? Like, do we know that he
I don't know if
decided
he
I want?
influenced it, but I was just using it as an example to say like sometimes a good character, a bad character can be changed to a good character,
I thought you
but
were
if
saying
it's
he wanted to
handled.
do that. I thought
No,
you were
I'm
saying
saying if he
he had
wanted to,
lobbied for it.
if he didn't want to be a bad guy no more because of his image, you know what I'm
I
saying?
misunderstood the
Well,
premise. My
I'm
bad.
saying, but The Rock for 100% don't want to be a bad guy in a movie. He plays the good, clean guy in the movies all the time, dude. He's literally cultivating the image. You see it with the roles he picks. You know, he's cultivating the image. He's the clean cut guy who comes in. Even when he did the action movie, The Rundown, and he was like the dude who don't use guns. I don't use guns. I fight with my hands
Was
and
that
all
the
this
guy
shit.
that like hit the dude with a 2x4, like taking out the guy that was trying to come in and take over the town or some
Oh yeah,
nonsense like that?
that was the remake of a Schwarzenegger movie. Well,
Yeah,
not a remake of a Schwarzenegger movie. They did the same movie almost. Small Town Sheriff or whatever. Johnny
right.
Knoxville. They did a lot of similar shit, but no. At the end of the day, like I said, he's cultivating the image by playing certain type of character. That could be him being pigeonholed by Hollywood, but it just seems odd that
No, I think he gets to
you
choose
get
his
one
projects. I think he
you get
very
to
clearly
be
gets to.
you get to be a total badass who could rival Superman, and instead of like playing up to that role, somehow you wind up with a movie where he like befriends this kid and he's like flying around and he's like, I'm not a good guy. I'm a bad guy. I never said I was a good guy. I never said I was a hero. I'm a bad guy, but he's doing all this good guy shit. And it's like, the fuck out of here. This movie, DC is retarded. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I've not
It's
seen
pretty damn
anything
stupid.
good come out of it.
But I don't want to take that away from my review of Black Panther. Black Panther, I thought was
Oh,
dope
we're
as
still
hell.
on your review of Black Panther.
Yeah, because
It's
like
only
when
been
you asked me,
41 minutes.
when
Carry
you,
on.
I know. Well, I mean, if I could get through it, if you stop me and
What?
ask
I'd
me
ask some
questions every four
questions. My
words,
bad. Well,
it's
let's
like
just
I'll
talk about
never get to
nothing
the
then.
point.
You say
No,
yours, and then I'll say mine, and then we'll end the fucking podcast. Then, because
no.
what's the point if we're not going to talk about it? What
I
the fuck,
know I'm
man?
not saying you're not supposed to ask. You just complained about how long it is, and I'm just saying
I
pause.
can't believe you're still doing your review of it. That's what I was laughing
No,
at.
I just
How the
didn't want
fuck
to take
are we
that away
still
from
doing
what I
that?
was saying. I didn't want anybody focused on what I was saying about The Rock or DC or none of that shit. Because realistically, what we were talking about was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and I thought everything was dope, man. I thought I think I'm pronouncing it right. Talokan is I thought the presentation of that underwater realm differentiated itself enough from what we saw with Atlantis and the Aquaman movie that
Well, that
I
doesn't
thought
even
it.
count though. It's DC.
No, but
This is
I
Marvel.
like the differentiation of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like I
shit!
don't
I
want to
didn't
see the
even know Atlantis
samey
was in
thing.
that. I didn't know that Atlantis was in
Yeah,
DC like that. So like I
yeah,
was just like, please don't be Atlantis in this one, not knowing that that was even remotely
yeah.
possible. I was just like,
But I think that's what
I see.
heavily influenced their choice to make it Mesoamerican instead of going with the Atlantean thing. It's like we'll do we'll do Latin influenced character in place of the Atlantean thing, but we'll still have a
What
Atlantean
race is
kind of flavor.
Atlantean?
I don't think it's so much a race as it is just a culture. That's what I was about to say. It's like I think they said we'll still do the underwater culture type of thing,
Or we're going to apply
but
it to
we'll just kind
what
of
do you call it?
differentiate it by
The
pushing it over
Mayan kind of
toward
situation.
right, pushing it over toward the other side of the ocean or whatever. So I thought it was
Do
cool.
people not see that as like, I know this is probably the wrong word, but appropriation, like just deciding we're going to include this group now. Like,
Nah,
could that
I
group not
couldn't
be
see
like,
it.
well, we don't want to be underwater people? Like, could
Mm,
the you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying though? Like, whether it's true or not, I'm just curious. Like, does that feel like
nah,
it's shoehorned in there? Like, could they have just been any other race and it would have been equally as interesting?
I don't know.
Like any other
I never.
culture?
I figured like this: if I've never asked a question, or even though I personally asked a question, if I've never asked a question, why the people who be around dragons and all that shit always be British? I don't know. I don't think nobody think that hard of it. It was just characters.
No, I know. I was just
I just
asking
think
because
the differentiation is
it's
the
like they randomly picked one. It's like they just randomly picked a culture and were like they could have done like Easter Island or they could have done a tribe in wherever. You know what I mean? Like they could have literally just done anything. It seemed so random to just pick them as
yeah, and you know
underwater
what? And
people.
you know what's crazy? If they would have did like Samoan Pacific
That would have made
Islander type of
sense.
shit, it would have made sense. But then it would have felt like it was already tapped on with movies like Moana and there's some other properties out there that already had like Samoans being heavily represented. So yeah, yeah, they just say fuck it, let's go South American, let's do it. So I thought it was pretty dope though. No, like I said, I enjoyed everything. And the only thing, that one kid that played T'Challa Jr., I don't know if they have juniors in that culture. I don't know. I think they just be like the second of the name or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I hate child actors. Like it's like
Yeah,
we gotta stop depending on these little bastards. Like stop putting them on the screen.
I was
They,
really hoping for some sort of a.
your voice became super muffled. Whatever you just did.
I didn't do anything. Let me make sure it's picked the same mic. Let's see. My settings here. Audio. Yep. Mics. Let's do that one. Okay. So
There
anyway,
you go.
shit. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
You were saying something about the fuck.
It was about the kid. We were talking
It
about
was about the kid. I was
actors.
talking about the stupid child actors. They be staring at the cameras and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't really do anything for. I was hoping that would be the emotional scene, and I'm standing there waiting for it to end, and I'm just like, okay. Oh no, what I was gonna say is I had hoped for. I would have preferred some sort of a finality to Chadwick Boseman visually, whether even if it was just from behind or something in the astral plane. I wanted some closure there because there's
Oh,
literally
you
no
saying
reason
like when she went
storyline
to?
wise. There's no reason storyline wise he wouldn't be there.
You saying like it should have been like the he should have been like when they had Ramonda show up to say show him who you are. They could have had like a CG version of Chadwick show up or
Yeah,
something. Now, the only here's the
that would have
thing
been
though.
enough, and that would
Here's
have
the
been
thing.
enough.
I think that would have made sense, and I went into the movie preparing myself to see a CG version of
Oh,
Chadwick
dude, I
either
kept
die.
expecting it
I thought it was gonna
when they
happen,
went to Killmonger. I was like,
but
oh,
then
it's
when
gonna.
I
I'm like, here
thought,
it comes, babe.
but then when I thought about it, I know that the production of the movie, the that Ryan Coogler actually, the director actually approached Chadwick Boseman's family and asked if it was okay to use that storyline about T'Challa dying from that disease and use
Right.
his face again, on a mural or whatever. Out of respect for him, they didn't want to just like disrespect the family and just use his likeness. And here's the irony of it.
Oh,
I
did they not
can't.
ask?
No, this is what I'm saying. I don't even know if the family would have approved of it, and I also don't know if Chadwick would have approved of it. I've been finding out a lot of stuff like in Hollywood. Some people sign away rights to their likenesses
Right.
and in perpetuity. Like Bruce Willis just signed a
Yeah,
contract. He
forever.
retired from acting, and he basically signed a contract that they can use his likeness. So Bruce Willis might be in movies that our grandchildren watch.
Right.
Like that's a trippy thought. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like really think about that. That's crazy as hell. Like I
It
grew up
seems
watching
so
Bruce
like
Willis.
easy to do at this point, like in terms of
Yeah,
not
but
easy, but
but
easy
some
enough
people,
to
everybody
accomplish.
ain't with it though, because
So you're thinking their
famously,
parents weren't against the family was
I
not
don't
for it?
know. I can't even answer that. I don't know what they thought. I'm just saying I know some people don't like that
Right.
thought of that.
If he showed up at
So
the end or at some point in an astral plane, would you have been annoyed by that, or would it have been
no,
like
I was actually
that felt
prepared
like
for it to happen.
finality?
I thought I would have
Because that's
thought
where they
that it
all
was
go,
something that they
right?
would have did.
Isn't that where they
Yeah,
all go? Like all the
you're
past Black Panthers and leaders and stuff, they all end up there. So like
yeah. The
it only
ancestral
made
plane is
sense
where
to
people are.
briefly just go,
Yeah,
yeah, he's here too. Like I think that's the reason I wanted it. I wanted to know he's safe too, or he's
right.
in
But
the
no, I was just thinking about it because
afterlife.
I wanted to give you that example. Jet Li
Uh-huh.
quit the Matrix movies because he was you remember the character Seraph from the Matrix?
No.
The little Asian guy that fought Neo or whatever the fuck. He wore white all the time. But
Right.
anyway, the point is he was the protector of the Oracle. That
Uh-huh.
was supposed to be Jet Li. Jet Li was actually on set filming with Keanu and Morpheus. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne and all of them. He quit the movie because he refused to sign a contract that they could digitally recreate his martial arts moves
Right.
because the studio would then own those moves
Right.
forever. And
Right.
Jet Li said he didn't want because he practiced his art since he was a small child. He created his own style. He didn't want some dude like they put somebody's face on his body
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 20
Yeah.
years down the line and act like this guy has the same level of martial arts
Skill.
acumen
Yeah.
that he has. So yeah, he said he left and he recommended the guy who wound up playing Seraph. It was a close friend of his. But the
Right.
point was, that's what I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is because yeah, it's a lot of people that are doing that type of stuff in Hollywood now. It's like, look, man, we can take a video of you, we can take some high resolution photos, you can stay alive forever.
Right.
What is that worth for you? You know what I'm saying? How much would that be worth for you if our studio say we can use? They're doing
Completely.
James
And
Earl
they
Jones.
should be negotiating all kinds of money for that.
Oh
Now,
yeah,
that being
it should be
said,
ridiculous money at this point. Like James Earl Jones, Disney owns his voice now. They're gonna use his voice for Darth Vader moving forward.
right.
Period.
Yeah.
So his
So in
children and
that case, do you think
grandchildren
they
and
have
everything
him
should be.
go in and say everything? Like say
No,
all the
that's not
words?
those new
They're just digitally doing it?
those new I don't know what they call them, simulated voice, whatever the fuck I don't know the name
Modulators
for
and
the
all that
technology,
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
but they are really good and it's actually kind of scary.
Oh, so it's just like one of those things where, like on Scream, they're just calling and they're putting their voice into it. They're talking into a box
It's
and it's
almost
coming
like
out
yeah,
James
it's
Earl
almost like
Jones.
they can make you say just about anything,
Okay.
and the fact that the CG is and the level of fidelity that they're getting with the CG is getting. So yeah, it's kind of scary, man. It's kind of scary, but it's also exciting because it would be dope as hell to see another Christopher Reeve Superman. I know it's an asshole thing to say, but as a kid who grew up watching that shit, I love that Superman. I think it would be dope as hell to see that. But that's just me.
Okay, fair enough. I think
Yeah.
as a viewer of this franchise, it would have been more satisfying to me than what they presented. Like even just for a second to have seen a version of him would have uh what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't really know, but it's like it would have justified doing all
Satiated? Oh
this.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for.
But yeah, no, I know I feel what you're saying because, like I said, I told you I walked in the theater with that in my head that at some point they might be a CG Chadwick. You know what I'm saying? I thought that they would actually do what they did with Paul Walker after he passed. They
Use
kind
his
of
brother.
did, yeah. They used his brother for a lot of things. They could have just this is honest to God. This was like if I was writing this shit, this was what I thought was happening um with the storyline based on the first viewing of the trailer. I thought that Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa would somehow wind up being killed by Namor or somebody from Atlantis. I didn't know it was going to be Talokan, but I
Right.
thought Namor or one of his people was going to wind up killing the Black Panther in the beginning of the movie, but you wouldn't see like the Black Panther, his face. I thought it would be like a blurry shot of like the Black Panther running towards the beach to like save a kid or something,
Dude, I would have loved that so
and
much. Just because you could have put him in
encroached
the
on
mask,
their territory,
in the whole
and
outfit.
Namor.
Yeah.
And especially, and look, like you see how they had those those water tunnels or those hyper tubes that they use to travel underwater.
Yeah.
Like if you had a child that got caught in there swimming or something, and Black Panther went in to save them, wound up getting whisked away, encroached on the territory of Talokan. He get killed, and then they come back to warn the Wakandans, don't come fucking with us no
It's
more.
just not the same
That's
if
how
he doesn't
this is
have
what
6
I
years to
thought
have
that
a
they would
kid.
do. You know what I'm saying? This is
Right.
what I thought they
I
would
would
do.
have liked that better,
But
honestly,
I
because they
say
could have left him in
this,
the entire costume and it could have been anybody under there.
yeah,
And
it could have been
they could
anybody.
have done a still shot of his face when he died.
And that would have
That would
been
have
a
been enough.
reason. It would have been a reason to go to war with Talokan, and
Right.
it could have been all out war instead of a war they could have called off. But I think, but like I was explaining to my kids, because I know the comics, they always kind of like at a uneasy peace with Atlantis and Wakanda, and they usually go to war maybe every 4 or 5 years or something in the comics. So it's like I know they're gonna re-explore that storyline. They
Yeah.
wanted to kind of
I hope it's not the next one. Like, I
no,
hope it's
it's
not just. I
more
think they're
likely
gonna
than
do a
not.
spin-off more
More
than anything.
likely than not, they're gonna do like you said earlier. They're gonna age up T'Challa, maybe mid to late teens, and then have him in maybe one of the like
Oh
young
God, are we gonna have
Avengers
to watch a
movies.
whole movie where he tries to become
No,
the
I'm
Black
saying like
Panther?
have him in a young Avengers movie or some shit like that.
Ooh,
Because they already laid
question.
down
I got a
they
real
already laid
question
down the
here.
tracks for that.
Is so are we just gonna brush past Shuri as Black Panther?
No, she's Black
Like,
Panther.
no,
She's supposed
I'm saying in the next, like, by the time we come back to Black Panther world, we're probably
uh
going to be at him being an adult, right? And him eventually by the end of that movie becoming Black Panther. So she's going to get like one movie as well, or one
no,
and a half.
she probably they probably keep it like okay on and like I said, bear in mind I'm only basing this on the source material because now it kind of
Well, I don't want
differentiates.
spoilers.
No, I'm not giving you a spoiler. I'm saying
Okay,
because now
good.
it kind of differentiates because we've canonically killed the character of T'Challa
Right.
because because of Chadwick's death.
Oh, he
The
did
M-
die at some in
right.
the
So,
comics,
but
right?
the unfortunate irony of this is that in the comics, T'Challa was the king of the dead,
Okay.
and I sometimes you'll have Shuri holding the mantle of Black Panther, whereas T'Challa will be off somewhere else doing some other shit. Still with his same technology, powers, and all that shit, but the protector of Wakanda, the Black Panther would be, Shuri or
So there's
whoever at the
just two
time.
then at that point,
Oh
essentially.
yeah, I mean it could be more than one. That's my point. And so I don't know what they're gonna do with it moving forward. They could keep it Letitia Wright. I don't
There's no
see
way
why
they're
they
not
wouldn't.
coming to the kid. There's no way they're not going right
Oh
to the
no, they
kid.
they definitely but that's so far down the road. I think they want to let everything cool down with that. I don't think they want to even touch that
Oh shit! How long
storyline.
do you think we got till the next Black Panther movie?
What is this? 2022. I
Yeah.
say the next Black Panther movie we
When
probably
was the
gonna see
last
like
one?
the
The
last
first
one
one,
wasn't that
rather.
long ago. The first one was
Was that 2019,
right
2018?
before what was it? Right before
I don't remember.
Infinity War, right?
Yeah, it was. It was right before Infinity War. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what year
What
was
shit? I
that?
got the damn thing right. No, I don't. I got it sitting over there. I can't remember what year it was. I don't want to mess up the chat
It
trying to
came
go and find.
out in 2018.
Okay, so 2018,
So
so
4 years
4 years.
we got.
I
So
was I
four
was
more
just about to say
years.
like 2027.
Yeah.
I was about to say 2027 is a good enough timeline. Now, to be fair, this one wouldn't have came out 4 years later if he hadn't died because they already had like the script and everything done for the second film.
Where was that
Uh,
going? Do you have any idea?
um, well, Ryan Coogler had made mention that he really wanted to get Sony to let him use the character Craven the Hunter,
But
but
we at the end of the first one, he exposed the technology to the world, right?
yeah, he exposed that Wakanda had
So do you think
vibranium and
that
all
was
that.
gonna go? That was gonna be him out there instead of his mom or all that stuff? Like, what do you think that storyline would have looked like?
I don't know. I think more or less. I think what he would, based on what he said about the storyline, he was really looking forward to. God damn it, he was looking forward to filming a. It wouldn't have been Craven the Hunter as the main villain. I think it would still have been Talokan or Namor or Atlantis or whatever. But I think the story would have been more of an all-out war type of thing. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't like this story would have to be I feel like they chose to go a more emotionally grounded
They
with
had
like
to. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
yes, but I think the original idea because they still was battling between studios for rights to certain characters. I think he was still gonna go with Namor, but I think it was gonna be more of an all-out war because they had planted the seed for it in I want to say Endgame when Okoye was talking to Black Widow, and she was talking about Black Widow had mentioned that it was some underwater disturbances off the coast of Africa or whatever. And Okoye was like, it's always some kind of disturbance down there, some shit like that. Like implying that it was some shit going on down in Atlantis. So
Right.
I think it was going to be an all-out war type of situation, which would have been fire to me. But
do you think the scenes that you said you really enjoyed, the person in peril scenes, like Michonne's character, I don't remember her name in this movie, but
Okoye,
yeah. So that wouldn't necessarily have happened in the Black Panther where he's still alive, right? Like in theory?
shit, I don't know. That's an
Oh,
unknowable
shit,
question.
you're saying he could have potentially gone off and left Shuri to be Black Panther.
Right.
Like, do you think that might have been where they would have went with it? Or do you think it would have been still him and then we see how he gets to handing it off to her as a when he's out thing?
I honestly, I don't
Nothing
know
from
where
the
they would have done
comics?
it. No, I'm saying in the comics, all of those storylines are possible. Like even Everett Ross dressed up as the Black Panther before and
But none
patrolled
of them played
Wakanda.
out, is what I'm saying. Like nothing played out beyond the first Black Panther movie in the comics, to where we would know what would have
No, they
happened
didn't.
next.
They didn't link those stories. They didn't link that story. Like Killmonger is a nemesis that doesn't die, which is why a lot of us comic people was like, "Why is he dead?" Like that didn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like Killmonger doesn't just die. He's literally like, if not equal to T'Challa, he's literally better than him.
Right.
He's definitely more intelligent than him. You know what I'm saying? So for Killmonger to just be a one movie villain, it felt like, okay, Michael B. Jordan cost a lot of money right now because he's hot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't expect this dude to show up every couple of years and be this villain or whatever. So
leaving the comics aside, how do you feel about Ironheart?
I'm not an Ironheart reader, so it's easy to leave the comics aside on that one. But
like, is it not just an obvious Tony Stark like clone, or not clone, but you know what I'm saying? Like fill in?
Let me ask you a question, because you do this a lot.
Yeah.
What would be wrong with that?
That character's done. Get a new character. Be original. That's my
But
point.
the character exists.
What I'm saying is, it's in a comic book. That doesn't fucking matter in terms of the MCU. We've established that a million times over. They can pull from the source material, but it's not going to be faithful to it. So
but it doesn't
have to be in there. So, like,
but every form of storytelling does that.
I know.
But what I'm saying is every form of storytelling does that. Why is it an issue with comic books?
Let's just carry on then. Let's just do the same thing over and over.
No. Stop. Wait. Because now you're just dismissing it all out of hand. I'm saying I'm asking a legitimate question, I feel like.
I just asked a legitimate question. You just
I know, I feel no. Listen. Listen one point.
You didn't take my question seriously.
No, you saying do you feel like it's just a copy? And all I'm asking is what would be okay, but let me ask.
Smart person who came up with tech. Like,
listen, what would be wrong with that when every other form of storytelling does it? Why is it that you have such a problem with it in comics? Is all I'm saying.
Because we're not talking about comics at the moment. We're talking about MCU.
I mean, comic book movies.
I feel like they just Iron Man just died a couple movies ago. We don't need an Iron Man replacement. We just don't. We're not going to need a Black Widow replacement. We're not going to need a whoever the hell else died replacement. It's just like they're like, oh well, we really love that character, but he had to die, so let's just have version 2. Like, to me,
but we do that. I hear what I understand your sentiment exactly. I promise you, I understand it. What I'm asking you is, why is it only in this form of storytelling?
Because this
comic book based movie. Listen.
I'm not saying it's good everywhere else. I'm just saying I'm asking about.
That's my point. Why do you never call it out when they do it with other stuff? That's all I'm curious.
If we were talking about that other property, I'd be calling it out because it's lazy. That's all. Like
they do it on House of the Dragon.
Go on. Tell me what you're talking about, so I can have a good.
They have characters that's alike other characters from the Game of Thrones show. They have their Littlefinger.
They're not taking their powers and having the same suit kind of nonsense.
They are. Littlefinger is a manipulative guy who's a little bit of a sex pervert.
That doesn't mean Varys is the same dude. That doesn't mean that. He's more Varys than Littlefinger to me. He's the master of whispers. He's the one who knows all the shit you're not supposed to know. Like, to me, he's more Varys than what's his name? I forgot already. Completely forgot his name.
Littlefinger.
Saying,
how you forget Littlefinger? That's the weirdest name ever.
Right. It can suck in other movies and suck in this. Like, we haven't come across it where it's been a discussion. I would have called it out in that too. It feels like just come up with a new character. There's a million things. Like She-Hulk, lazy. I don't care if it was something that already existed. We don't need another Hulk. And I liked that show. I liked at least the first episode. That's all I watched. But like, I liked that thing. I liked the let's not be super serious and let's be kind of funny in a show. Like, it's a different genre. I loved the fact that they went out of that box. But did we need another Hulk? Or could we have just come up with another character? Like, that's my point. It feels like it's redundant.
Flight, electricity, matter manipulation, psychic ability.
Are you trying to name all the powers?
No, listen. There's a finite amount of powers.
There's not. You could do any number of things. You could fly 3 feet above the ground, and that's it.
That's still flight.
Right, but it's only 3 feet above the ground. It's very limiting. It would visually appear different on screen. I'm saying there's ways to make this shit different. And like, she's just wearing another red suit, another maroon suit, and being Ironheart. It's dumb. It's even
she's Ironheart because she's inspired by somebody to do something. It's kind of like Miles Morales being Spider-Man because he's inspired by Peter Parker Spider-Man to do Spider-Man shit. And I'm gonna emulate my heroes. It's kind of like Toby. Look, I don't understand it. Why it's a thing? Because we see it in actual real life. Like, fucking Kobe Bryant watched Michael Jordan to the point where he literally owned the persona of Michael Jordan. He bought a same diamond crusted hoop earring as Mike.
Never
put
liked
in the
him.
same.
For that reason, honestly,
he put in the same shit. LeBron James turned around. He said, "I want to be number 23 because Mike was number 23. I want to play. I want to chase this man's legacy."
Yep,
I get it.
Be yourself. Don't be the second Iron Man.
Everybody can't be the first. Everybody can't be the first.
They literally have the option. She could have done anything. She could have done anything. She invented a thing that detected what do you call it? Vibranium. She could have done anything. It didn't have to be Iron Man 2. That's what I'm saying. Come on, man. You have to agree that there's other options for what she could have done.
No, not that character.
Not
that character.
Why?
No, not that character. Because there are and I'm going to be real quick about it. Iron Man's a genius. Shuri's a genius. T'Challa was a genius. Riri Williams a genius. Reed Richards was a genius. Bruce Banner, genius. And I want to say Hank Pym. What are we at 7 in the MCU? Genius level intellects.
Right. And they couldn't even come up with 7 different things.
Hold on. They did. They literally did.
Well, sorry,
just so happened.
We're not counting Iron Man.
No. Actually, Peter Parker is a genius too. So that's 8. You have 8 genius level intellects, and one of them decided to look up to and idolize one of the other ones.
Right.
Just one, not all of them.
No, I know.
It happens in real life. That's the thing that happens.
Yeah. I think it's lame. That's all. I just think it's
so lame. You don't want. So like, if one of your kids like start dressing like you and acting like you, you'll be like, "Hey, be yourself, sucker," and just like clothesline them down the flight of stairs. I gotta call the people.
I wouldn't let them
I'm calling the police.
Joel. Their first name wouldn't be the same as my first name. It wouldn't be Iron something. It wouldn't be the same thing. They wouldn't be going by Don Tiva too.
How do you know that? What if they choose to? As a way to honor you, you wouldn't accept that honor.
It's dumb. Like, I'm still allowed to say, be yourself. Be the first you. I don't want somebody to be the next me. That's dumb as shit. Be the first you. Like, I don't know why that's such a sticking point for you. I don't see why you can't.
No, it's not a sticking point. I just don't understand how you don't see that it happens in real life in every form of. Listen, you calling it lazy down, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just literally my entire point
you're making my point though by saying
what I'm saying is listen. My entire point is it's a thing that happens not only in real life but it happens in every single solitary form of storytelling that we observe, that we even talk about on the show and stuff. I was just asking why, when it comes to comic book movies in specificity, does it seem to be a big problem for you? It's like
not
if
a general problem. It's a problem specific to me talking about this one character. I have not said this in relation to other Marvel characters. If there was another Marvel character that had the same gimmick as somebody else, I'd be calling them on it too. But it's
oh yeah,
lazy.
well, I'm sorry, Jeremy. Doom is also a genius. But the point is,
we got 10 of them. We got 10 of them, and they couldn't come up with an original thing for all of them. That's it. That's my point. Simply that.
Okay.
It is.
I don't
it's
know.
fact. They didn't come up with another thing for her. They just went to
So
one of
they-
the other wells of geniuses. That's what I'm saying. That's not very genius to me.
But
She
it
could have been
happens.
smarter than that. Yeah.
I'm just saying it happens.
Lazy writing. It does. I agree.
No, it happens in
all
actual
over the
life.
place.
It happens in actual life.
Superheroes taking the name of another superhero happens in actual life?
No. I'm saying in real life, people like Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion of the world. His name is Tyson Fury because his father named him after the heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. These things happen in real life.
He didn't name himself that.
I know. I'm.
She named herself.
It's like, okay,
I'm wrong.
Matter of fact, no. Hold on, stop. What I'm saying is, we can play semantics with that point.
It's not a semantics. It's legit.
I'm saying in real life, people idolize other people and take up their mantle.
Right, but the dad.
Tyson Fury could have easily went and changed his name because, like, my dad was crazy. He named me after some boxer and made me box my whole life. I should have illegally changed my name.
I'm going to be Tyson Fury. His dad decided that. That's somebody else. If Ironheart's mom or dad named her Ironheart, then you'd have a point. But in this case, she chose it. Unless we find out she didn't choose it, which is great. And then it'll be, oh, cool. Somebody else labeled you with somebody else's
Out of curiosity, though, how do you know her name is Ironheart?
Because they announced the movie's coming out, and she's fucking Iron Man.
No. I'm asking, how do you know her name is Ironheart?
Because they announced the
movie. Because they never said it in the movie.
No, I just said it. I've answered you twice now. They announced the movie was coming out, and she's fucking Iron Man. That's how I know. Am I wrong? Is she not Ironheart? If she's not Ironheart, tell me I'm wrong.
No, she's Ironheart, but what I'm saying is they never said it in the movie.
I've told you 3 times now. They announced the movie Ironheart before this, and she was
the show
Iron Man. She was clearly fucking Iron Man in this movie. So, like, obviously that's who she is. Any point Dre has is valid. Any point I have is nonsense and can be dismissed.
I'm not saying either is valid or not. I've literally agreed with you 15 times in a row. I'm only questioning. I've literally agreed with you the entire time. I told you, yes, it's lazy. Yes, it's only so many naming conventions.
I'm down then.
Listen, hold on, stop. I said it a million times. I literally only asked you. Why
is it only?
Why does it only bother you with
we're talking about
comic books? I know you say that, but we talk about other stuff, and you never mention that in other.
Come up. I don't think that Laris is.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up, so you don't bring it up. Bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up in House of the Dragon when we talk about it.
If we have a scenario where that's relevant, if there was a character that was like, "Oh, that's obviously Tyrion," and they was trying to be Tyrion, and he called himself Tyrion Light, like, yeah, I'm gonna bring that up because that's annoying. Like, that's lazy.
Yeah, I mean, but I just
yourself.
But that's not how real life worked, though.
No, I know. We're talking about movies, so it's irrelevant. Point.
Art life,
not real life.
Yeah, it is. Wakanda is real. I've been there.
All real life.
You just mad because they wouldn't let you in. That's what it is.
Yeah,
you came to the border, Joe. You showed up to the border like this, like, hello. They was like, go away.
Please let me in so I can tell Ironheart how dumb she is.
They was like, please go away. Go away.
Oh shit! How do I hit the music?
Take that thing off. Take the thing off. We have more stuff to talk about.
What? What the hell else is there to talk about?
You never even gave your opinion on the movie. You just talked about Ironheart for like 30 minutes.
I just told you all the stuff that I didn't like about it. It wasn't a great movie. I get what they were trying to do. I didn't like it. Like, it was fine.
Oh wait, which way I'm supposed to point?
That way. again, you liked Big Bug.
I didn't. Go back. Y'all got to. Yeah, y'all some weirdos. I'm not gonna say y'all.
It's not valid for me to not like a movie. You're like doing crazy hand. Like,
I'll just say you crazy. Yeah, you crazy. You crazy on this one, Joe. I gotta disagree. Hey, listen, I'm always for.
I let you talk.
Everybody
for 40
can have their own
about
opinion.
Your opinion. I let you talk for 40 minutes about your opinion, but I tell you mine, and it's invalid immediately. No
you
point.
said it was not good.
I'm
coming. Hey, look, I'm sure. Hey, listen, hold on. Make sure you lock your door because I'm gonna show it to your house with the movie and some popcorn and like an encyclopedia.
And we can watch it again, and it'd still be boring to me. It was just boring.
I'm gonna be like, Joe, pay attention to this part.
I let you have your opinion, but mine is invalid. So there's no point in continuing this. We'll just talk some other time.
Joe just sleepy.
Any impartiality to it. What do you mean? Just sleepy. I'm saying it doesn't matter what I say. You're just going to disagree with it. I let you spout your opinion for 40 minutes and ask questions.
I'm listening
I didn't tell you were wrong. You're not. You're just telling me it's wrong.
I'm just saying you're crazy, though.
Right. I thought some of your points were.
It's really good, Joe. You got to watch it again.
I didn't enjoy it.
I'm bringing it on VHS.
I didn't think it was good.
I'm bringing it on VHS.
Fine. It was passable, but it wasn't what I wanted from another.
This is how to watch TV.
Passable? Did you have surround sound in your theater?